Good morning, everyone. It's September the 4th, 2024. As you can see from my title, that it's definitely a transition month for September, and there's nice things about it and some bad things about it, for sure. But I just want to say that walking around the Labor Day weekend, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves, because I know I walked around the market area and the streets here, and the streets were full of people, and the market people were out really enjoying themselves. And then you can also see the students that are coming back into town. So there was lots of students out on the street. And I noticed when you get the crowds, the panhandlers also seem to come back in full force as well. So I saw more panhandlers for certain out on the street, hoping to pick up on some change. But it's a month you kind of look forward to, but you kind of dread at the same time, because you know that winter's coming, and with the homeless, where are we going to put them all? So, but then I think the nice thing is that I really thoroughly enjoyed yesterday morning and this morning while I was eating my breakfast, and I'm still hearing them. We have a public school nearby, and it's just so nice. What a change to be able to hear the children actually all excited, talking amongst themselves and looking forward to going back to school, and they're walking by, and it's such a difference to hear the voices of the young children all excited to go to school and having to put up with all the language and the fights and the screaming at one another that you get down here from the homeless. So that was a beautiful change that I've actually feel that we should note that it's nice that we have the children. It's a nice break. And it's nice to see that there's a lot of parents who are close by to the school that are able to walk their children to school. So that's for safety reasons as well, which is good. It's nice. And then, of course, the other thing is, now that school's back in, the CTV News last night was sounding the alarm again with the university students coming into town. And I know it's crowded with them, because I know they're coming in full force, and you always know that for sure, because the bank lineups are really lined up to try and get into a teller at the bank, because all the students are trying to get all their banking information done. But the alarm that they're sounding is they've got so much on-campus housing for them, but they don't have enough yet to house all the students coming in. So they're now sounding the alarm again that we're going to have students that are not going to be able to get housing off the campus like normal, because of our housing shortage here. So they're now noting that they're seeing some that are probably going to be sleeping in their cars, or surf couching, or on the couch surfing, I should say, on people's couches, or friends' couches, the best they can. And it's also going to mean that there's going to be some homeless students probably having to go in the shelters as well at night again. So I brought this up in previous videos before, but it's going to be interesting to see how this particular fall is going to be different from last fall even, and it's going to be a very interesting fall, and I can see a big transition coming. And what do we have for housing? How many do they estimate that we do have homeless? And it's going to be a problem. And how do you solve a housing problem? And because the universities, what they've done here down in the Lower Town area here, in Sandy Hill area, they've not only have they taken over government buildings, and as well as a hotel, and converted them into housing for the students. There was one building that I spoke of earlier, of our national defense, that's down here within walking distance, as well as the university, that is across from the shelter, and they're moving out of there, the government, with national defense, because of all the harassment and that from the homeless people. And so the question is now, once they do vacate that building of the national defense staff, what's going to become of that building? Is that going to be a building for affordable housing that the government, I don't know if they lease that building or they actually own that building either. Are they going to transition it into affordable housing, or is the university going to take over that building perhaps and put in student housing, which is a good idea in many ways, but then we have to make sure just what's going on with the shelters down here. So this is an interesting dilemma of what are we going to do when this building's empty. So it's another big question mark on my mind. And of course, I've seen things too with the homeless again on the last few nights there. Well, last night she didn't show up, but beside our dumpster, someone had thrown out an old couch, and I was wakened by this swearing and F this and F that and F leave me alone, and somebody seemed to be talking to one of the other tenants from the building, and I looked down to see that she was on the couch making herself quite at home, and I was wakened several times through the night. I was kind of checking on her. I didn't think she was in serious trouble, but she was sleeping all night on the couch, and you could see that she was jumping in her sleep. She obviously, I believe, probably has some PTSD, as well as, I don't know if it was mental health problems, but she also sounded sick. Her voice was very raspy when she did talk as well. But she made herself comfortable, even in the cold, on the couch. And then the second night she did come back, but at least she brought some blankets for herself to sleep under, which doesn't bother me at all. But it's just a real reminder that the cold weather's coming for sure. So that's got to be stuck in everybody's mind. I know that was kind of, oh yeah, shock. Yeah, we're at the end of the summer now. The warm weather is not going to be here for much longer. But I wasn't worried. She seemed fine, and she wasn't, other than being a little bit cold. And of course, the next night she wasn't. But that's a concern too, is all the homeless people that are all scattered across the city now are going to be coming in, probably back from being scattered across the city, possibly back into the lower town area as well. Looking for places to sleep, whether it's on the ground, in tents. We haven't seen as many tents go up this summer for sure, that I've seen anyhow. That seems to be a little bit under control, but I think people are, from what I'm hearing from some of the other residents in some of the other wards, they're seeing some of the homeless people popping up as well. So I believe that's what they do, is during the summer they just scatter out across the city for sure, and then do come back downtown here where the services are. So it's going to be an interesting fall ahead of us. I just wanted to brief people in a little bit of what I was seeing going on at the moment again, and where we're at, and looking forward to the meeting starting. I think the first one I heard was going to be starting around the middle of September again for the housing. So that should be interesting to hear updates from them. And once the city councilors are back later in September, as well as the federal government's back, to hear more plans on what's going on. So I'm just going to leave it there today. And everyone, take care, be safe, watch your surroundings, and we'll talk again later. And bye-bye.